comes to numbers and the deeper meanings of words, there are many avenues for us to take, such as etymology, gematria, numerology, or even esoteric books. But have you ever heard of numerovation? I'm so excited to introduce our next guest. His name is King Simon, and he's a well-known numerologist, an MC, a radio personality, a producer, not to mention a fantastic reggae singer. His vibration is divine and highly energetic. King Simon has taught with so many powerful figures in the metaphysical community, and he is an author of several books. Today, he will be letting us know about the power of numbers and how we can use it to our best of our advantage with his new book called Numerovation. How are you, King Simon?
Wonderful, wonderful. Our brother King Simon, I am. Sister Donna, how are you, sister?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me to your program.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Where do you want to get started? Do you want to just hop in and do 0 to 12?
No. Hey, whatever questions you want to go, I'm with you, sister. What's happening?
Yeah, if you want to start with just, the basic, 1 through 12, so we can hit everybody's, birth date, sign, and we can do that or start.
Yeah, sure. Well, first, I like to tell people that, don't get spooky. A lot of people go through the spookism of metaphysics and all that, but it's really about finding the balance between the physical and the spiritual realm. And how important that even numerology has a connection to both the physical and the spiritual realm. And even in my book, the book that I've written books that I've written so far, each one of them reminded me of the levels that I kept on going up. So I'd like to mention, usually the first book that I wrote was called No Promotion is Bad Promotion, just spell my name right. And that was after I left the nightclub life. I actually left it, performing and all the kind of stuff, working with the great major reggae artists like the Beanie Mans and the Shabba and all the great ones that I've worked with. But even in that book, I put a little bit of tinge of numbers to show cycles of what I was going through. And every chapter actually is reflective of a cycle in the book. And then I wrote my first numerology book called Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated, which, everybody seems to smirk or laugh when I say that because it's true. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. And usually the complication comes about from what they've been connected to in their life. Because 1 plus 4 is always 5, and 2 plus 2 is always 4. But if you put a person connected to the frequency of the number 1 and the frequency of the number 5, if they don't find balance within the energetic connection with that number, because sometimes 1 can be very arrogant and it's negative and assertive, and the 5 wants his freedom to do what it wants. So 1 might try to control the 5, the person born under that 5 frequency, and there lies the problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say numbers are simple, people are complicated.
Yeah.
You have to learn to energetically understand the background of people sometimes, or recognize the patterns and the sequences and the cycles, because that's what numbers do. Numbers is here to help you to recognize the powers of the patterns, the sequences, and the cycle. And I always say to people to keep it simple. Numbers is like the GPS that we're using today. Back in the day when I was younger, we used the Rand McNally book, and now they've uploaded all of that, and we call it the GPS today, the guiding guiding positioning system, which was invented by a Black woman named Gladys Mae West, who said she was born in 1930, but I haven't got the gist of. I think she's an Aquarian. And if she is, somebody, I think one of my teachers, Lloyd Strayhorn, said she was an Aquarian. I got to look that up, but just the last of the digits of the year, just the year, it adds up to a number 4, 1930 adds up to a number 13, which is a 4, and 4 is the number of technology. So go figure. She's born in the year of technology. So she being a part of that whole makeup of the GPS system is not surprising to me at all, just because one of the main numbers for technology and communication is the number 4. So getting to what you want me to do as far as with the audience. Now, one thing I've learned through studying, and because numbers is infinite, we can keep on counting and counting and counting, transition, keep on counting in the spiritual realm and come back through another mother's womb or somebody else's womb and still be counting, and numbers will still be going. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So dealing with the main primary numbers 0 through 9. And I say 0 because 0 is the void, or the womb, or the vortex that all numbers came out of. That's why in science, I read a book called The Mystery of Numbers. I'm still reading it. It's a very thick book. But just going to that point where they talked about the 0 point, ether, and dark matter. So they're telling you something why 0 is connected to ether and dark matter. And there was a big debate on, should we call it ether? Should we call it dark matter? Now we're in this day and time, we're settling it for dark matter. So let's look at, everybody should look at 0 as the womb that all the numbers came out, as the dark matter, energetic, symbolically. I'm just saying from a symbolic perspective, because numbers, like one of my great Babas and great teachers, Baba Phil Valentine, always said, numbers are symbols, or they could be symbols, and they are symbols that we look at and identify with the 0, 1 through 9, or 1 through 31. But 1 through 9 is the highest numbers, or the regular numbers that we work with, and then it starts to remix itself into 10 to 20, 29, 30, 39, up to 999, whatever it goes, wherever it keeps on going. That's what we have to look at. So it's important that a person like me, from bringing it and putting together two systems. So when you ask about numerovation, I don't just do numerology, because the plain and simple meaning of numerology is numerology, the study of numbers. So anything that has an ology behind it is a study of something. And lo and behold, family, remember, this is African in nature. This comes from our history. It's just that people like Pythagoras, who came amongst us and studied according to legend, then went back and remixed it for Greece, and then Rome took it, and so on and so forth. But in his travels, his secret society of the Pythagoreans actually said that he traveled out into India and Africa for 22 years and then brought back this wisdom of numbers, and it's connected to music, and numbers connected to the universe and all that kind of stuff. So he is the godfather of European knowledge, the father of European mathematics. But we have to take it back to the Chaldeans, and even before that, the Chaldeans, which was off the offshores of Egypt or Kemet at that time, or the Sumerians or the Babylonians, which were also darker hued nations. So we can't negate that, but they seem to like to just put titles on it. And I'm just giving you the brief history so people know that they just put titles on it so they can offset who these people of antiquity was. And then remember, their parents and their parents also taught it. So we got to be very mindful. And it was not always called the name numerology, because again, that's coming from the Greek language. I don't know yet. I'm going to say I don't know it yet what the actual name of it was first, but I know it was a study of numbers just by the mathematical equations that African people came up with and did what they have to do. So starting with 0 in my system of numerovation, which is two worlds coming together, the best of two worlds. Numero coming from, of course, numerology, using the patterns and systems and sequences of numerology, and connecting it to motivation. So the last part of numerovation is motivation, using the motivational principles connected to the numbers to give guidance to you using your name and your birthday. And that's what I like to preference my system, the numerovation. It's the system of numerovation. And I had to do that just like Lloyd Strayhorn created astronumerology, where he does astrology and numerology, putting those two worlds together and creating. I do some astrology too, but I'm more strongly on the numbers, because I know through studying patterns, sequences, and cycles that the numbers can and give a definitive breakdown of certain things, and also bring at least guide.
Oh, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I think the sound cut out a little bit. Let me see if that was my end. Oh, I can hear you now.
You can hear me, okay?
Yeah.
What was the last thing you heard?
Oh man, just back 1 minute, and I think we should be good. Or just 30 seconds. That's the last thing that you remember you said.
That last thing I remember saying, it said, "Where do you want me to go with it now, Donna?"
Yeah. So I guess
Did you get the breakdown of numeration? Did y'all get that?
I got that absolutely.
Okay.
I guess yeah. I don't want to take up too much time and make you do each number. So I've been seeing a lot of 44 almost everywhere, and I know that there's something to that number. And I've asked multiple people. I just wanted to know what your thoughts were for that number.
Well, a lot of people would look at those numbers. When you start seeing 44, that's called the master numbers. And if you start seeing it a lot, it's either synchronicity, what some people may call synchronicity numbers, or some people may call angel numbers. But I always say, Donna, that if you're going to call them angels, always look at the other side, because if you're not striving to raise up to the higher side of the 44, then you're going down the lower side, or you're complacent. And we know that comfort is the enemy of progress. So the 44 energy from a numerovational perspective is one of the master numbers of building, the master number of structure, the master number of discipline, but it's also the master number of karma, because 4 + 4 = 8, and 8 is known as the karmic number, but it's also karmic, could be good karma or bad karma. No matter how you take it, you just got to recognize how you're going to use it. When you start going into deeper meanings of gematria, then it gets deeper. I try really, when it comes to people, I try to keep it real simple, because sometimes when you go into deeper studies, it takes them elsewhere instead of them focusing on who they are. That's why I do numerovation. It's here to motivate you so you could be a better person and learn how to navigate. And if you want to take it deeper, it's up to you whether you take it deeper to study the things that's going on in the world. But if you start seeing 4 is always one of the main numbers of communicating and learning to communicate well. Also, it's one of the numbers that says, watch out for secret enemies. Also, it's one of the numbers that says you have to build or rebuild or restructure your life, or learn how to do time management and manage your time carefully in the midst of what you're doing. If you start seeing 4 or 444 or 444, if you see a certain amount of 4s, that's just the doubling or the tripling amount of things that you need to do in reflective to what's going on in your world at that time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The other question I have is, we've got so much going on with Mercury retrograde. We got the lunar eclipse, and then the blood moon. Where do you see numerology wise the energy going for June with all of that?
Well, from a numerical point of view, people got to remember that in astrology, that's where they do the most of the breakdown of those things. But in order for me to navigate better, I would look at the numbers so I can navigate through all what's going on, the sensitivities of the red moon and all the blood moon that's going on, and also the communication factor of Mercury retrograde. So if Mercury retrograde represents communication, represents things moving fast, and sometimes dealing with the computers where things could go off and on and all that kind of stuff, then what happens when I do numerology or numerovation, I try to prep myself before things happen. So I always, in other words, if this computer go down, I'll always have an extra computer to drop on. Like I might have 3, I always carry things in 3s. In case of emergency, especially during retrograde, because that's when the communication issues happen. So if you're going out to go to a job, or you got to go on a job appointment, it behooves you to at least get there an hour before. Leave an hour before. You leave an hour before in your house so you can get to the job interview an hour before, so you can offset a lot of this stuff, because it can be offset, it can be balanced, but a lot of people got to learn how to use the balance. And let's say today is the 27th of the month. So if Mercury retrograde is in at the 27th while we're in this cycle for until June 22nd, each one of those numbers can be a guiding factor. So in a 27th of the month, I would say always look at your intuition, what you're feeling, and then because the 2 and the 7 adds up to the number 9, always finish what you start and be assertive of what you do. And because 27 in tarot numerology is what we call the number of the scepter, or a scepter that's passed on from generation to generation. I just spoke on this recently on my IG, but it also is a number of productivity and creativity. So in the midst of retrograde and this blood moon, it's time to become creative and productive as we're going into June, because June, the sign that rules June is Gemini, and Gemini is connected to the 5 energy, which is also ruled by Mercury. So people with quick thoughts and all that, and also paying attention to the possible disasters that come, because I always want people to look at both sides of the picture, where if there is a possible disaster or something happen in your life, you got to be able to be aware of what's going on and learn how to navigate and handle the crisis. And that's why I tell people to get into preparedness, learn how to prepare for certain things, so you don't have to end up in the midst of the danger or in the midst of the disaster, prepare for things. So in what's going on, I just tell people in these type of situations, look around, pay attention, be focused, be structured, be disciplined, but yet always plan what you need to do. Like we used to say in the disaster preparedness community, and I was a disaster preparedness instructor for over 20 years, it says it's best to be prepared and not be in a situation than to be in a situation and not be prepared. And preparedness comes through study, research. And the month of June is connected to the number 5, of course, because June is the 6th month, but because of Gemini, but also because it's the 6th month, we also got to look at that number. Not just look at the Mercury, look at all things. And like Dr. Africa told me, always look at things from a holistic perspective, never limiting yourself. So as much as you say about the blood moon, I'll go and research the blood moon and what's the frequency and what's going on in the blood moon. And then say, all right, I know what I need to do, especially if it's dealing with your emotions or dealing with that, how to calm it down, how to get into my meditation, how to listen to positive things. Like before I turned you on, I was listening to the frequencies and 528 frequencies to keep myself at a certain pace and a certain level. So, and if it's Mercury retrograde, again, that deals with computers, it deals with technology, it deals with how you communicate with people. To a point that if your communication is not clear, you can get yourself caught up in some bullcrap, because in the studies of numbers, because 5 is connected to Mercury, 5 is one of the numbers of recklessness, scattered energy, reckless talk, gossip, nervous energy, anxiety. So you got to be very mindful. So how do you overcome all of those things? By getting into yourself and your meditation and learning to draw in. So that's where the blood moon energy and its meaning is bringing you in to understand and have self-reflection, so you can balance off the Mercury retrograde that we're going through at the same time.
Right. Right before this live, my computer literally malfunctioned. It did the Mercury retrograde stuff. I'm like, come on, not now. I had it like prepared. Even the night before, I'm like, everything's good. And it just literally did what it always would do in a Mercury retrograde. So
that's how it works. But I tell people, don't get caught. Remember, all these things came out of us. So we can control it if we learn to navigate it better. That's why you have your extra computers. Get ready. Get ready. I could tell, if it's just drop, I could turn to this other computer and go like this. Whoa, hey girl, what's up? That's just me. Yes. Go ahead.
How do you feel about the numbers behind cryptocurrency, or just crypto?
Have I did the numbers behind crypto? No, I have not. Although I know that it resonates on not only 44, but remember that, and I've heard Blue Pills talk about that, but that 4-4 energy is an 8. And 8 is always the money cycle, the money frequency. But yet money has its positive and money has its negative. So there's a lot of people that goes out there and say it's not going to last and this and that, but we have to pay attention to the energy of, even at the back of the time when they said gold and silver and all these things and fiat and all this thing wasn't going to last, it ended up lasting. So I tell people always pay attention. But because crypto starts with the matter of fact, shoot, I could write that down and let's do the numbers to it right now in front of everybody. I like that, you know what I'm saying? So let's go into crypto. Let me look. I'm gonna write it down on the paper and let's go crypto. All right. So once you look at that, the 3, there's a 9, there's 2, there's 7, that's 1. That's let me see, and that's a 7, that's 8. That's 2, that's 4, and that's 6 and 7. So when I look at the word crypto, especially from the Chaldeans perspective, that's 10, that's 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So that's in numerology, in the crypto, in the Chaldean perspective, it adds up to a number 25. And let me confirm that as 10. Yes, it's 25. And in numerology, that just says you need to deeply research what you're getting into when you study doing with crypto, because the number 25 in tarot and compound numerology is the number of observation and listening to what's going on, not just physically, but also spiritually. Observe the market. Join it if you have to, but make sure you observe it, but put in what's necessary. So, because I remember when it first came out, I'll tell you something, Donna. When it first started coming out, I put in $400 to start, and it went up to like $3,000. But I pulled my first $400 I initially put out, and then it dropped. I mean, it fell, but I already pulled out my money. So I just wanted to see how this was going to go. So that's what I'm saying. Observe and research, and through observation, if you're a true scientist, whether metaphysics or otherwise, you're going to study the patterns and recognize the patterns and sequences of how it works and how it's good. Never going to tell people not to go into it, because there's an old saying that we all should be grateful for where we're at, but never be satisfied. So we may be grateful for what we're doing in fiat and the money that we have now, although we know the dollar is dropping, but never be satisfied. It's going to change. It's definitely going into the technological world, because we're in the age, or tipping the age of Aquarius, which deals with all that's going on, the change, the rebel, the movement. So it's going to happen. So we just have to pay attention. And like it says in the numbers of the crypto, study it, dig deep, look into it. And then after you've done your due diligence of studying, then move. Just like I said, I put in $400, went up to $3,000. I pulled out my $400 initially, see where it was going to go. So I didn't lose no money. To tell you the truth, I just watched what happened, and it plummeted straight down. And I got money in there now. I'm still in it, but I know I'm researching and always studying, and I love what's happening now. It's starting to pick up, but we still got to pay attention to it real carefully, because 7 is also the number of secrecy and deception on the negative side. So we got to also be very mindful of it. I'm just being real.
There's a lot of spookiness when it comes to 666. I mean, I know as the carbon molecule, what are your thoughts on the number 666, the positive side of it?
Okay, well, and that's so funny, because you'll find that Christians say they don't believe in numbers, but if you say the 666, oh my God, that's the devil. Now, what is so interesting about the 666? Because 6 in numerology is the number of balance, harmony, truth, justice, reciprocity, forgiveness, and healing. So if people start seeing that, that's very helpful. It's reminding them what they need to do, but also what they need to finish off, because 6 and 6 adds up to 18, which is a 9, and 9 is the number of completion, endings. Also, it's the assertive number of rising higher than what you're supposed to be. So even when it can, and everything has its duality, because 666 can also be something that could be very traumatic, because you're unbalanced. You don't have harmony in your life. You don't have love in your life. You don't develop the love frequency in your life. And then it can cause a disaster, because it adds up to the 18, which is a 9. And that 9 deals with disaster, destruction, war, arguments. So there's two sides to it. So even from the perspective of people we're talking about with the Christian perspective, I tell people, you may not believe in the numbers per se, but however, you got to think, if it is of the so-called devil, we got to remember that before the devil fell, he was once an angel of the Creator, according to their scriptures. Once an angel of God. So if that's the case, where did he get this knowledge of numbers or the studies of this type of stuff? If it was always just a matter of intentions, or can you do the positive of numerology? Yes. Can you do it in negative means, like people like Aleister Crowley and Blavatsky used to do the negative? Some of them did the negative of it. Matter of fact, it's coming down the pipe that in history they were the one that helped destroyed or killed or had Pascal Beverly Randolph taken out, who was one of the first African American metaphysics teacher in the world. That's the one they mimicked Dr. Strange from, according to many metaphysics teachers. So we got to pay attention to what's going on and understand that everything you do has to be done either with the right intentions, and then you have those that's going to do it with the negative intentions. So don't ever, if you see 666, don't ever think that you're the devil. Don't ever think that you're evil. Look at it for what it is and look at the positive of it and find out if the positive of it resonates with your life at this moment, at this time when you've seen that number, or is it the negative of that number that's resonating, the hard-headedness of the number 6, the argumentative lifestyle, the one who gets into too many arguments, who find themselves unbalanced and unstable. That's how you got to look at the 666. I don't look at it as I've seen 666 numerous times, but I'm not scared of it. I just know how to use it to help me.
All right, I got one selfish question for me. My birthday is 9/30/86. Pick two.
You said 9/30/1986? I can't hear you. 9/30/1986?
Correct. Yeah, 86. Yes.
Well, my beautiful sister, being born on 9/30, you're doing exactly what you're doing, especially for cause of media. Your alignment number, when you add the 9 plus the 3, plus the 30, that's 39, and 39 adds up to 12, which is a 3. More than likely, in the you've always enjoyed like music and dancing in your early parts, enjoyed great things. You always you were very energetic, put like that. But one thing I do tell about the people born on the 30th, there's a time when you like to be to yourself, be in your own head when it's time. That's very important. That head space and getting into your own meditation is very important. That's why I would tell people who deals with somebody like you have to learn to make her go into her own silence sometimes, because that's where you get a lot of your downloads, especially because you're born in 1986. And that 1986, when you add it all together, it adds up to 25, which is a 7. And that is the number of meditation and manifestation. And then in my system of numerovation, the number 30 is a master number potential, because anything that comes after 0, after 30, anything if the 0 follows any number, that adds high potential, infinite amount of potential, infinite amount of guidance and knowledge to it. So 0 is that ultimate number that I like to tell people about, the 30. But you also, as a number 30, got to be careful of gossip. Got to be careful of getting into controversies and getting into reckless talk that can lead you down astray, because many number 30s that I've known in history have gone down that line of controversies, like Tiger Woods, born on the 30th, LeBron James, born down the 30th, people like young Pharaoh was born on the 30th. So they.
Oh no, it stopped. Can you hear me? Mercury retrograde. Relax. We're having a good convo. Jeez. Hopefully he comes back. Let's
those books are supposed to be coming out. I think our connection is together. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I lost you after young Pharaoh.
Yes, I'm saying yes. I said, now I went back to you and said, Donna, with young Pharaohs, I was saying that he had got into certain controversy, and he's been getting into certain controversy in his life. And that's the 30 energy, because he's born on the 30. We got to pay attention to those 30 energies, but those are a master number potential. But as far as you're concerned, you're supposed to be writing your books. I hope you do have some books out or working on your book. That would be smart. And pay attention to your nerves. Pay attention to avoiding nervous tension or letting people get on your nerves.
Too late.
You know, say it again.
It's too late. It happened this morning, but I got to work on it. You're right.
Yeah, because your number 3 rules nerves. It rules nervous tension. It rules anxiety. That's one of the numbers that rules anxiety. So you always got to protect. And you got the double 3s, because remember, the 9 plus the 30 equals 39, which adds up to 12, which is a 3. So now you got, to me, I see 33 master number also. But you're also a healer and you're a teacher. And the better you take care of your health, because the number 3 is is one of the numbers that is the youthful numbers. You have to always take care of your health, and you'll always remain youthful. So as you're getting older, you might find yourself younger men attracted to you. And then as you was younger, you've had older men might be attracted to you. You just got to pay attention to that as you're going off through life.
All right. Yeah, we can start to wrap this up. What books do you want to recommend? I know you wrote several more. If you want to plug your books and anything you want to plug.
Oh, sure. My book, of course, my latest book, Numerology for Mental Stability. I wrote this book as like a respectable love for the mind, but because friends of mine transition and they happen to be born under the one of the main numbers of depression. They was born under the number 13, which is a 4. And both of them transitioned by taking their own life. And I tell people all the time that in the study of numbers that I've seen, in the patterns that I've seen, 4, 7, 8, 5, and 3 in that order I've noticed that they've attracted depression. Just like you're born in the 30th, y'all can attract depression if you're not careful. And especially if your nerves are rattled by anything, any situation. And that's why I said you got to always calm your nerves and maintain, because from a nervous breakdown, that could lead to depression. And that's why those are the last 2, 3 and 5, or 5 and 3 is the last 2 on the chart. But 4, 7, and 8 are the primary ones, but 4 and 7. And 4, because it's a number of structure and stability, but also mental health. I tell people born on the 4th, the 13th, the 22nd, or the 31st of the month to protect your mind, because the mind is a terrible thing to waste. Which is interesting to me, because a man, one of the doctors from the Negro College Funds, the United Negro College Funds, who said it, Dr. Fletcher, he was born December 22nd, which equals the number 4, and he's the one that coined that saying, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. So he had to protect his mind also, I can see, just by what that statement and that him coining that and that being a major statement. So my other books is called Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. That's my other book. My other book is Numbers Are Simple, Our Children's Health is Important. I think I have that at my reach. This one is a health book for children, but it's also good for adults. It helps you to recognize possible health ailments that could come up if you don't learn to monitor and navigate, again, preventative measures. And then in the back of the book, I got people like Phil Valentine's number, Dr. Sabi, Dr. Africa, Ma'a, people that do the health thing. And of course, my other book is No Promotion is Bad Promotion. Just spell my name right. It's a motivational book on how to promote your business from a small level to a higher level, because I was known as a major promoter back in the day, especially in music and otherwise, on radio and in television too, so.
And then I know you have some YouTube channels. Do you want to plug those as well?
Oh, sure. See, now you telling me what I need to do. That's right. You can go to my Linktree, which is Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. That's Numerovator, Numerovator, King Simon the Numerovator, Linktree. And you can get a link to my YouTube channel, King Simon Presents, my other YouTube channel, The Ministry of Numerovation. And you can get to those books too. All 4 of those books are on my link tree, and you'll be able to go to that direct link. And of course, if you want to do a numerovation session with me, all you have to do is text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And I want to specify something to your audience, Donna. I do not do readings. I do consultations, and I advise, because people have been saying reading, and reading over the years has become like a parlor trick. And I'm not here to trick you. I'm not here to give you parlor tricks. I'm here to guide you and show you how to maximize and activate the numbers that are connected to you. If all of the great scientists, Donna, and your audience is saying that the universe is mathematics, Galileo, Isaac Newton, Stephen Hawking, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Sylvester Gates, if all of them, and Michio Kaku, if they're saying it's the universe is mathematics, we're on Earth in the universe. Aren't we a part of some form of mathematics? Let's get real. We're part of this mathematics. So the best known mathematics that you and I know are the ones we came through on our birthdays, sometimes the time if you're doing astrology. And the names, remember, in numerology, that's the only system that can transpose letters into numbers. So I turn your letters into numbers, and then I make it happen. Just like your name, Donna. When I see the double N's in your name, I see double 5. See, I see everything in double. I see things in numbers. So I see double 5. So it tells me you love your freedom. You love your freedom to move, travel, and be what you want to be and do what you want to do. That's just that name, and just looking at those 2 double N's. But that's also a healing number, double 5, because it's a master number. So you need to master communication. You need to master the realm of traveling, not only physically, Donna, but also spiritually. And that's just in your first name that I see, if I'm making any sense.
Yes, if you have a Cash App too, if you want to leave that here, you're welcome to say it.
Oh. I mean, it's in my link tree, but my Cash App is $King Simon 3158, and yes, that's significant too. That's why I put them there. That's King Simon 3158, which is interesting. I want to tell you something about those 3158. That is the numbers that is found when I do my birthday, and every time I look at it, it reminds me, again, numbers are here to help navigate and help you to be a reminder of what you need to do. 3 reminds me to be creative and be self-creative as far as expression and expansion and writing and doing what I do. 1 is the creative leadership quality. 5 represents the freedom to move, but the freedom to expand beyond where you're at and be versatile and adaptive. So, and the 8 represents money, finance, but also an ancestral connection and understanding the build and destroy concept. So every time I see 3158, it's giving me a reminder of what I need to always do every day, or when I see those numbers pop up on me. So that's why I even look for that. And I look for your master numbers in your name. I look for your angel numbers if it pops out of me. That's what it means by doing holistic numerovation. As a matter of fact, I got a course that's going to be coming out called Holistic Numerovation, the Bath Method. And that's going to be coming out June the 22nd. It's going to be a 9-piece course, and it's going to consist of 9 different intervals of 30 minutes. And I'm going to be teaching numerovation, holistic numerovation, and my method called the BAT method. Seeing beyond the numbers. B, A, looking around the numbers. T, looking at the trajectory of the numbers. And H, why do we hear the numbers? What makes you want to turn and see 222, 333, 444? That's how I'm going to break down the BAT method in my classes. That's coming up June the 22nd, which is a significant day for me because that's my grandmother's birthday. She would have been turning 104 years of age this year if she was still alive. So,
happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy cosmic to her, because she's the one that introduced me to birthdays. She always had a birthday card for everybody. Those who have an old family that had them big packs of cards, she remembered everybody's birthday. She used to send me to the mailbox to mail out so I could get there on time and all that kind of stuff. So that's where I started for me, the birthday stuff.
Well, thank you so much, King Simon. This has been a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to do this.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it so much, and please, please keep on. I want when that book come out there. Let me know when those books come out. I want to see the books. You got a lot of books, and you need to get to some children too. Get some children books out too. You'll be good at it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. Peace.
Bye.
All right. Take care.
All right, everyone. Woo! Thank you for tuning in. I hope you all learned something today and had a little bit of fun along the way.